Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, the regional banks are they're just not doing well today. It looks like Western Alliance Bank may be coming down some more, so we don't know what's going to go on there. But let's just jump on over to the chart for Western Alliance here, real quick. Let's see if I can put that up on for TikTok, because I have to definitely flip that camera. There we go. So basically what's going on here is that we've had three banks fail. We had, of course, Silicon Valley Bank. Everybody knows about that one. Signature Bank in New York. And yesterday we had a bank. What was it? It also failed. And this is the fourth one that looks like it may fail. It's Western Alliance Bancorp, based in Phoenix, Arizona. Don't know a whole lot about it, but it's down to about 19. Now, of course, you can't short these because they're restricting that. I tried to short the index here, but would not allow me to do that based on what's going on in terms of that. So kind of an interesting thing there with those banks, but be very, very careful. If you've got any deposits over and you're over 250,000, it's probably a good idea to move that down to where you're under 250,000 per account, because that is, of course, is the FDIC requirement. So not looking good when it comes to that, but just wanted to put it out there for everyone. So Western Alliance Bank just isn't looking too strong right now. Let's see if I can get the it's just something that we just have to watch out for, because it definitely is not it's not looking good. So let's see if we can get over here to this one. There we go. All right. So Western Alliance Bank, be very, very careful with this one. Just want to look at the major indexes here today. We basically what's happening is we are down on all three major indexes. The Nasdaq is down 0.49%. The S&P is down 0.72%, and the Dow Jones is down 86%. So not looking good there either. Not trying to be Mr. Doom and Gloom, but this is kind of the way it's going. Here's the thing, and I'm telling everyone, it's a good time to be at least 50% in cash. The market rally it's a uptrend under pressure. We haven't gone to a full-on correction yet, but it is getting there. So be very, very careful. We want to be basically in, we want to be mostly in cash. Now, I am not totally in cash. There are some stocks out there that I am holding that that are sort of doing well. I'm trimming and kind of bobbing and weaving and that kind of thing. Some of my I've been trying to move down in the number of stocks that I have, just because it is kind of a situation where we want to do that. One stock that I do like, it's called Triple Flag Precious Metals, TFPM, and this one is a royalty trust for some of the Canadian mines, and also some other mines. Pretty good little stock here. But let's take a look at it. Kind of just look at it in terms of how it's performing. As you can see, this is the reversal line. This is kind of when I started coming in. It's got a 97 relative strength. That means currently in the market, it's in the top 3% currently of stocks trading, and that's just kind of the way it is. So top 3% there, very nice in terms of that one. It's in the gold miner. It's in the gold and silver group, which is number 3 group. So very good group right now. I also did buy today more shares in a company called AEM. It's a Canadian miner. It's a major, and that one is also doing well. But kind of let's take a look at Triple Flag. This is a smaller stock, so it's a little bit more volatile. We always want to be careful with this one. 78 checklist, and it does look pretty good. Now we're looking here at the daily charts. This is a relatively new stock. So if we go to the If we go to the weekly chart, you can see basically, you know, it really just came out here. It's only about 18 months old, and it's been a little bit volatile. The reason that it came to our attention here at Dallas Trading Floor was because it moved above its higher high. That's part of the reason why we made a move into this stock, basically. But it's sort of consolidating here. This is a weekly chart, so it's been kind of in this trading range. If it breaks out of this trading range, I think it could go a lot higher. November 22nd, that was the last earnings. The sales were up 19%, but the profits were up 33%. So that's looking pretty good. It is getting ready to have an earnings report in 5 days. So be very careful here. Even though I do believe it's going to move higher, you want to be careful when it comes into an earnings report. Typically, the best time to buy is not before the earnings. Kind of wait until see what happens, and then go on that one. But this one, triple flag. You know, this is triple flag, and it's a pretty good little stock. So the symbol on this one, TFPM. And again, this is not a recommendation or anything, but it is definitely a stock that I am holding now, triple flag precious metals. So that's one that you might want to take a gander at and see if it's right for you. Again, I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that it's in the right area, which is the gold miners, and it's performing well. So if we get weakness in the in the rest of the market, this will be a good place to be. Will be in the gold miners. Now let's take a look at another thing that I'm doing here. Of course, that is the stocks that I have sold short, and I don't know if this is going to work out because it definitely went up today, and it didn't work as well as I would have liked to. And that is Square. I have a short on Square right now. Let's look at the chart and take a look to see if I'm out of my mind, which I might be on this one. But Square seems to be making at least some headway. Let's jump on over for people on TikTok there. There we go. Great. Okay. So this one, as you can see, Block. It's S Square SQ, but it was renamed Block. Of course, this is Dorsey's company. It's been sort of in this downward trend. We're definitely trading below that 200-day line, and we are just getting where the 50-day is moving below that 200-day line. That's one of the reasons why I did short the stock. It did move up today a little bit, though, so I didn't ideally short it. But basically what we're looking for in a short is a former high flyer that's kind of come on hard times. And we have earnings. Don't know what those earnings are yet, but it's up a little bit in the after hours at 61.01. So I don't know, I may be cutting my number of shares here, but I am short Block. And if we go over the weekly chart, you can see it has a much more pronounced downward trend. So we will see if that is the case. They haven't updated. My site hasn't updated yet, but last quarter, Block's sales were up 14%, but their profits were about 19%. So we will see if that indeed is going to be making a new making a new low. So we'll see. We'll see if what happens there. All right, let's take some questions, please. A very, very good question here. And this is on actually one of my favorite stocks, and I'm not in it, and I just want to kick myself because I'm not in it. Is Shopify, and this is Shop, SHOP. This one just did fantastic today. It was up like almost 20%. It was on the list. Now I'm in one of the stocks that was the Blue Dot special today, but I'm not in the other one. I wasn't in Shopify. I'm in AEM. But this is the chart for Shopify, and it is great. It is an excellent chart. Thank you for bringing that up here. The question is, can you get back into it? Boy, I tell you what, I'm so tempted to buy this, but I can't. But it can't. This is the reversal line that we've drawn here. what we've got to do is we've got to wait for it to pull back. And what I would do is if I wanted to buy that, I would set a limit order right about here, right about at the bottom of today's gap up. And if we were looking for that, that limit order would be right at about 53.80. So that's going to be where, 53.80 is where you'd probably want to set a limit order if you wanted to get back into, if you wanted to get into that stock. So what I would say on this one is, if 53.80 for limit order for SHOP, because it's very likely that Shopify will that Shopify will move up. As it's moved up, it will move down again. And so, if we were to put a put a limit of about 53.80 on that, that might make some sense in terms of where to go on a Shopify buy. But right now, it's too far extended. I wouldn't buy Shopify here just because it is too far extended and it will pull back. So right now, of course, we're in the after hours. We went up all the way to 57.30. We've pulled back to 53.18. It will pull down tomorrow, and then it'll probably rally up. But I definitely see this. Typically, when we get gap ups like this, that what happens is it's either a short squeeze or we have institutional buying. I think this may be institutional buying. They may have had. I think they had some really good numbers on there. But we'll find out tomorrow. But I would not buy it at the current level. It's just too high. Wait for it to move lower. All right, let's look at FOUR, 4 for payments. This is Mr. Cheese. So 4, FOUR. Shift 4 for payments. Interesting stock here. Pulled way down, but it's up after hours. Don't quite know what's happening. This is part of the reason why I am kind of looking at this credit card payments area as being a potential area of problems. This is one of the reasons I am short Block. Let's take a look and kind of look at the other one. Shift 4 payments is one of the best ones here, but let's look at the group. Now I'm short Block right now, as you know, I'm short Block. Shift 4 payments is a much smaller company. And so it's fairly far down on the list. As you can see, there we go. Shift 4 payments, much smaller at 4,879,000 market cap, whereas Square Block is 36 billion. So I definitely think that we're going to see some more weakness in this area. So let's take a look kind of at the whole group. Let's look at 4. And because this is one of the ones that I did short FOUR, and then let's take a look also at FOUR. This is the third time is the charm. There we go. Basically looking at it since the and then let's look at Block. And look at PayPal. There. Okay. Zoom on over to that chart. All right, here's the comparison between these different these different. Here's the group. This is the group of credit card payment companies. This is 4, as you were saying. Now Square was up, and I don't know why it was up today, but because I was kind of expecting it to be kind of like PayPal. But the general trend of the group is lower. And this is one of the reasons I did short this. One of the reasons I did short short square because it's in this downward trend, as you can see. It's in this downward trend. I expect that with the revelations coming for the smaller banks, I think this group is going to have a lot of trouble too, because it's just it's just not looking good. So this may be a short. Let's take a look at and obviously if you did short 4 yesterday, you would have done really well. It's not good to short it after it's taken such a dive, but let's go back to it here. There we go. All right, so here's 4. You can see here's 4. Definitely, I don't exactly know what happened, but the earnings report must not have been very good. Let's look at the earnings. March 23rd. Okay, well, the sales were up 36%, and the profits were up. I don't know why this took a dump. This is a really good question. Don't know why this came down so hard, but it did. I really don't have anything more for you. Let's look for Mark. Let's look at Shopify. Now with Shopify, they must have had a tremendous number because that is way up. I want to see if they've updated the. Yeah, no. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I can see. This is interesting. Shopify had a 25% increase in sales, but a 59% decrease in profitability. That's really interesting. I don't know why that moves so well because we've got earnings per share was off. Earnings per share was off. Very interesting. I cannot tell you why that's the case. They do have positive cash flow. But it does look good. I do think though we're going to see it revert back to the mean here. So I would kind of get ready to see this thing come down possibly to 50, and then before it continues its upward trend. But somebody big bought it. Either this kind of looks like a short squeeze. That's interesting. This kind of looks like a short squeeze to me. Let me see what okay, yeah, that's why the short interest. This is a short squeeze. All right. So what I think happened, there were a lot of people shorting this one, and they had to cover right when the earnings came. And so this is a short squeeze. But I still think that, this is a good stock. I just wouldn't buy it this low. I would wait to see if there's a pullback. I think it's going to pull back tomorrow. That's basically the deal. All right, let's look at Exxon and take a look at that. The price of crude fell, so I had to sell out of my position in Exxon. I was very strong in Exxon, and then I just, it broke below the. When it broke below the 50-day line, I had to bail, and then it's just continuing to move down. Now it may bounce, and if it bounces, this is more than likely where it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce on the 200-day line. That might be a good place to pick it up, but again, I'm just a little bit leery because look at this. We have earnings per share up, and there is a lot of action, good action, and yet it falls. Look at that. That's really interesting. In the March sales, in the March quarter, the sales were down 4%, but the profits are up 37%. So it's still not a bad stock. I don't know what happened to the price, but I definitely think it will recover. It's got a PE ratio of 7, so that's incredible. You know, that's incredible. So I think, you know, maybe we wait and see if it pulls back to the 200-day line and buy it again. I don't know. Really tough one to say there on that. Ah, jeez. NTR. Let's look at NTR. And let's take a look at that. Nutrien. This, of course, is the fertilizer company. I haven't traded this one in a while. It does look like it's on a downward trend, unfortunately, though. Let's go back to the weekly chart. Yeah, it sort of topped out there. It's on this downward trend. Gosh, I don't know what to say on this one. Sales are up 4%. This is the last quarter. Profits were down, but it's still, you know, I don't know if I would be in this right now. It's in a good area, but the problem is this group is not doing well. 179 out of 197. So this is what I would be very, very careful here. Now, one stock that I did buy, it was kind of counterintuitive, that has done well in the last 2 days, is Intel, INTC. I bought this one basically on Monday, and you know, I haven't owned Intel forever, but what happened with Intel, and this is that it moved above this reversal line and reactivate that reversal line. It moved above the reversal line. I bought it as it moved above the reversal line, and it does have a relative strength that's moving higher. It's in the semiconductor manufacturing group. It's number 3 in terms of size. Taiwan Semi being, let's look at the stocks in the group. There we go. Taiwan Semi being the top one, of course. Texas Instruments number 2. That's in the beautiful Richardson, Texas, which is I'm right close to there. And then Intel number 3. I want to take a look and see how TXU is doing. TXN. This is Texas Instruments. Boy, look at that. Look at how far below. I'm not trading this one. Look at how below floor Texas Instruments is below that 200-day line. Man, I wouldn't be in this one until we got some kind of reversal. So interesting that it's down this much. I just want to see what the they had their sales were down and their profits were down. So that makes sense for Texas Instruments. But I did buy Intel INTC, and I do think we're going to get as semiconductor production moves back to the U.S., I think that Intel should do very well. But it's a behemoth company. It's got a lot of problems. And, you know, it just hasn't been a viable stock until very recently. So hopefully I'm right on that one. So we'll see. Just weird. AMD. Let's look at AMD. Yeah, good chip stock to look at. Let's look at AMD. Advanced Micro Devices. And AMD, you know, it came almost all the way down. It's just a tough market to trade. It came almost all the way down to the 200-day line. That was on yesterday. And then, boom, it's moved up almost to the 50-day line. So go figure. The question is it going to reverse? Now, here's a little trick on AMD. If it moves above this reversal line, and it can stay there. Now, it went up, and that would be a place that you could potentially buy it. I'm going to set an alert on that line. But this is, if it moves above this reversal line, that would be potentially a place that you could buy it. But you have to buy it on strength. There was a lot of buying that came in today. It moved up and then it moved back. There's a lot of people that sold into that strength. There you go. And pulled back. But AMD could be possibly a buy if it moves above that reversal line. We'll see. I mean, I'm not as I don't know. It could be weird here. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at Mr. G and QQQ and Apple. Let's look at Apple first. AAPL. And Apple reported today, and of course, their numbers were not as good as they were down in terms of their sales. So, Apple did pull back to the 21-day line. Typically, that's a good place to buy it, it is moving higher, and it's moving higher after hours. So it looks like the market liked that. this could be a buy. I mean, if I'm not currently in Apple right now, look back at the weekly chart here. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that is a relatively good chart. The thing is, it's always safest to buy it above that 200-day moving average, which is definitely above it. We did move the 50-day to move above the 200, so that is looking good. So this is potentially where you could pick up some. You could pick up some right here because of the way this chart looks. The problem with Apple right now is that they just, the consumer is out of gas and not buying a lot of stuff. So I want to look at the fundamentals here. Yeah, their sales on this. Well, they haven't. They looks like their report was good last quarter, so it's probably okay. What I'm worrying about with Apple, of course, is that the consumer is just exhausted, and I don't know if the consumer has any more juice. I don't think their sales, I think their sales are probably going to be down. That's my guess on it. Their sales are probably going to be down, so just tough. Let's SQ or let's look at Tesla. And answering somebody on TikTok, SUB, don't buy Square. I'm short Square. I think Square is probably going to go lower. It's gone up, but I think it's likely to move lower. Let's look at everybody's favorite stock, and that's Tesla, and see if there's anything we can deal with Tesla. Tesla's up after hours. Well, it's 161. This is typically the bottom, because 163 was the, before. So it definitely is looking like, this is sort of the low. I'm just scared of buying anything like Tesla below this 200-day moving average. It's just too much for me. But it does look like it's likely to reverse up to a high of about 207. So definitely within this in this range. Could you buy this? You could buy this here, but I probably would not be a buyer at this level because I think that the relative strength against the rest of the market is only 18. That's not good. That means that 88% of the market is doing better. And I just don't think that the retail sectors are going to be as strong as they have been. So not necessarily the greatest place to be. All right. Well, I'm almost finished, almost wrapped up. Let's show you what I am short currently. And currently I am short Square, believe it or not. I shorted Square, and which is called Block by some. I shorted Square, and let me show you where I did the damage. So it's SQ is the symbol there. And if we go directly back to the chart, there we go. This is Square there. And it was up today, but I think what's going to happen is we're on the daily chart. It came up to the 10-day line. I think it's going to get some resistance there, just as it's been. This is the downward trend that I've been looking at. And so I do think this one is going to go lower. That's why I shorted it. I think this one is going to go lower, possibly as low as 56.50. So I do think that we're going to make another movement down here. We'll see what happens. According to this, it had earnings. So let me see what those earnings were. Let's see. Let me see it. Let me see what the earnings were. If it's been reported. No, it hasn't been reported yet. But I still think that we're going to go lower on Block. Okay. Okay. Square IEP. Let's look at IEP. Yeah, look at that Icon Enterprise. This is an interesting one. This is IEP, Icon Enterprises, Hindenburg Research, which is a shorting company, they indicated that this one was a potential short. Boy, were they right. Look at that. I wish I had shorted this one. It's too late now. It's moved down too far, but definitely, yeah, look at that. Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. But Icon Enterprise is definitely down. A lot of this was based on the Hindenburg report. So don't quite know what's in there, but I know that it has been an issue for them. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for taking a look at the show. By the way, if you want to get on our action trade alerts, super duper easy to do that. Just go over to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and yeah, www.Dallas Trading Floor. Also, just like to ask you if you could hit that like button. That really helps us out. It helps us get better out on there. So smash the like button, and I really appreciate when you do that, of course. Also, you can sign up for our free action trade alerts, but smash that like button, and then I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, hopefully, if everything goes right. So until then, everybody, happy trading.